Okay, so welcome everyone to meditation. And I thought in today's meditation we could use the opportunity for a little contemplation. And last night with some friends had a wonderful discussion about free will and destiny. Free will and destiny. The topic of which is one of the ancient deep philosophical questions. And as we chatted on it and looked at different elements about free will and destiny, the overall sense that I came away with was that both seem to exist. And in our lives, we're born into a given circumstance, into a time of history, into a society. We're born into a family. We're born by specific people. We come into the world. And on the surface, it appears rather destined. So unless we get into some more spiritual theories, we really don't have a free will about where we've incarnated, our situation, our parents, our circumstances, the world situation at that time, the political situation. And so if we were going to point to, okay, what would destiny be? That's one place to look, like the environment we find ourselves in. And then within that environment, we have certain choices. So we're going down the road of our life and there's door A, B, and C. And what doors there are, what opportunities we have, what choices we have, etc., also seem to have a certain amount of predestiny in terms of I can choose either A or B. And the free will, just in the discussion, seems to be the free will is, okay, I have the power of choice. I'm going to choose A or B. Now we could say the limit of my choices, A or B, and what about C, D, E, and F that I never even heard of? Well, then you could say, okay, I'm in a world that's of a certain amount of predestiny, but within that world, I have my choice, my free will to choose to act in this way or that way, or simply not to act. And in the not acting, which can be a mental process, it can be a physical process, even in the non-acting, life continues to evolve. So again, we could say, it's like we're in a movie and the scenes are rolling. We're not consciously choosing the exact scene and who all the players are, but as all these scenes roll before us, we have our power, our personal power to make choices, to make conscious choices. And so I think it's good to explore this in terms of our lives, because oftentimes we find ourselves in situations and circumstances that do seem to be out of our control. Other people doing things that are creating an environment that we don't seem to have much control over. But a lot of times we can become lost in a feeling of hopelessness or helplessness when we look just at that element of these big forces. Because we forget about our personal power, our power to make choices. But then one of our biggest choices is how we perceive a situation, how we perceive ourselves, how we view things, how we react to things, the emotions we choose to focus our attention on, as opposed to the emotions we choose to let go or the thoughts we choose to let go. So in this wonderful movie of life, and they say in the Indian philosophy, the dance of life, the leela of life, the dance of life, we find ourselves in these extraordinary moments or circumstances. But within those, we are the primary character of our lives. We're the hero or the heroine of our lives through the choices we make. And so tonight or today, when we get a little deeper into the meditation, I'll offer up a few visualizations to explore this. So with that, starting some deep controlled breathing, breath and mind being intertwined. Slow and calm your breathing, quiets your mind. If you want to release any holding in your body, you could do a few shoulder rolls, linking breath to movement. Loosen up the neck. Might feel nice to throw in a twist. Loosen up the jaw. Stretch out the muscles around the eyes. And then either let your eyelids gently close or softly open, gaze at one object. In either case, holding the eyeballs still. Allow the tongue to sink to the bottom of your mouth. Breathing slowly and deeply. And to start today's journey, become aware of the sensations that make you conscious that you have a body. So your eyes are closed, so you can't necessarily see your body, but what sensations arise that make you conscious of your body? And just explore those feelings, those sensations. And then allow in the sensations of sound. Part of our mind wants to label every sensation. Allow that to happen naturally, but try to focus in on the actual experience, the direct experience of sensation. The textures, the feelings. And now rooting into sense of self, connecting with the deep part of you that observes your thoughts, that observes the sensations, that observes the feeling of having a body. Root into your sense of self. You can add in the mantra, I am, on the inhale and or exhale. Be aware of yourself, the observer of everything. And now we'll meditate with the free will and destiny. So try to simultaneously be aware of two things. One is some environment in which you find yourself. So we have all kinds of environments: our work environment, our social environments, our family environments. Just choose one. Choose one environment. And be aware of how you don't control how everything happens in that environment. So you could say it's destined what occurs. It's out of your control. But at the same time, be aware of yourself, the main character, who has choice, who makes decisions to stay in that environment, how you relate to that environment. So be aware simultaneously of the destiny in which you find yourself, but also your freedom of choice in that environment. So again, stick with one environment. If you want to switch to another aspect of your life, do that. Concentrate in on one environment at a time. Feel the destiny in it, the out of your controlness, but also your freedom within it. And if you haven't already, now choose 4 or 5 main scenes of your life, situations, circumstances, family, work, social, relationship. Choose 4 or 5. Just imagine you're in a theater. You're sitting there, be conscious of yourself, and see these different scenes in which you find yourself, these destinies. It's a big cinema complex, 5, 6 different movies playing, and all movies of your life. Be conscious of it, but also aware of your power to choose to go into a scene, how you act in the scene. Again, remember, you are the main character. You're the whole reason that movie is there. Empower yourself. And now pull your awareness away from the different scenes or the different movies playing. Pull awareness into yourself and contemplate, be aware of the freedoms you have, the freedom of choice, the freedom of where you choose to put your attention, the thoughts, the emotions, places you focus. Feel that beautiful freedom and power that you have. The last thing to contemplate is the possibility, the idea that the situation you are born into, the parents, the family, the circumstances, the historical moment, everything going on was chosen by a dimension of yourself, your soul or your spirit, chosen so that you could learn the lessons you need to learn. So that even in the biggest circumstances, our moments were created by a deep part of ourself, creating the perfect movie for us to learn and grow. The last 2 minutes, either continuing with this contemplation or any of the contemplations, or going back to any of the meditation techniques. As we begin to transition out of the meditation, always being conscious to spend a little time assimilating the wisdom, the insights you've gleaned, and hopefully the contemplations on destiny and free will, awareness of our circumstances, what we control, what we don't, where our freedoms lie. Hopefully these contemplations will empower and enrich your experience of life. Special shout out to Delaney and Greg for helping sort out and explore some of these ideas. And the light within me bows to and respects the light in each of you. Namaste.